I grew up in Knoxville. I graduated high school in 1998, and then went to UT for undergrad. Well, I moved to Chicago for 13 years to try to figure out how to make it in a bigger place, and then came back to Knoxville because I love it here, and I have kids now, and it's a great place to raise a family. Really, because my undergrad was in ceramics, and I liked making armatures out of steel and building larger and larger things, and I was a little limited in what I could do with clay, so took more and more classes at UT kind of even after I graduated, and the sculpture department was really like open to me and accommodating to allow me to kind of figure some things out and add to my portfolio for graduate school. I think like being aware of our impact in this life and in this place, and you know, however you get to that, whether it be like spiritual or pragmatic, you know, like we have to coexist, and doing that in a way that's intentional and being aware of what you are contributing to the situation is super important to me and my partner. And we have kind of like our disciplines have kind of like, it has become impossible to separate that from our art making. I don't know, I've done some really big like outside like installation, like landscape intervention, kind of landscape architecture interventions that are more like in the furniture side of things, but they're like on the waterfront in Chicago, and they'll be there for my whole life, hopefully. And they're out of materials that can last, and it really like changes the space there. And just from the scale standpoint, I think that's something I'm most proud of. But I mean, I did some things in graduate school that were like art for art's sake. That, I mean, that's the time that you can do that, where you're really diving into those things. And really proud of some of the projects I did there, and I would love to like revisit aspects of that in the future. Well, for the upcoming projects at least, will be to do some maquettes and just kind of some studies for things, because the spaces where we're going to be showing can accommodate more of a small, kind of intimate exploration, I think. So I like doing big installation pieces with like sound and light and things like that, and some of our upcoming projects maybe won't be conducive to some of that, but studies for those, I think they will be. Oh man, it's Knoxville's great. It has a little bit of everything that you want to do, and it's growing. It's growing a lot, and I know we're having growing pains here, but honestly, like, we're getting better restaurants, we're getting better art opportunities. Groups like SoKno Sculpt are getting more traction, and you know, there's been such a need for that for so long that now we can kind of position ourselves, I think, to really like take the next step, and I'm optimistic that it's a fertile ground for that now with all of the population growth that we've had. Well, the other side of that is you know, all of our growing pains have yielded really difficult home rent situations, really difficult studio rent situations, and you know, I think there needs to be kind of an intentional stance from the city that is not so much of like a gratitude and like positive support posture, but more of like a proactive policy stance that if you want to continue to be a maker city, and you need to facilitate the people that are the makers to be able to stay here and make here and live here, because it is not immutable, right? Like these things will change, and the more competition there is for housing, and the more competition there is for like empty commercial space like this one, it's gonna be more and more difficult for artists to be able to find a place to work. Yeah, I know you don't want to just throw money at artists, but it's undeniable that artists have a positive impact on neighborhoods, on spaces, and again, just having an intention about what your stance as a city is to support the artist is super important. And I think there's some city council members that are really kind of trying to step in the right direction and understand what those needs are. And all is not lost yet. So I think we have an opportunity to, and as a group like this, like the more positive, noteworthy things that we do, it provides, it adds to that dialogue and that conversation.